We'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all very much for joining us today. We're going to be covering the Project Service module of Dynamics CRM. This is an incredible addition for any organization looking to be able to manage long-term project deliveries, which can apply to many different industries, including construction, through what we do here as software developers. And we're actually going to walk through a number of examples that are going to show how to be able to maximize the capability of this exciting module. Let's go ahead and begin. What we're going to accomplish today is an overview of the system, all of its components and how each intertwines. Secondly, we'll be looking at how that actually benefits the operations, how this module will actually increase visibility and organization, resource allocation, milestone billing, allowing customers to be able to be better serviced and better informed with less overhead on being able to deliver these projects. We'll take a look at when is the best time to use the project service. And also, we'll get into the nuts and bolts about how to actually use the project service itself, including building projects, the tasks associated, milestones. We'll look at automated resource allocation, soft booking and hard booking. We'll look at time tracking and how individuals who are assigned to a project are able to say that they've completed their tasks, and how that actually rolls into invoicing. And then also we'll take a look at the feedback loop being dashboards. There's already a couple out-of-the-box dashboards included with this module, but of course if you're familiar with the Dynamics CRM platform, you know that whenever you have data within the system, you can always create your own customized dashboard to reflect the KPIs that are specific to your needs. And finally, we'll also look at who is involved in the project service lifecycle. It's not always going to be something like salespeople or marketing. So we'll identify exactly who this is going to benefit within your organization. First, let me give you a little bit of an introduction about me. I've been doing business analytics for 14 years, a wide variety of industries. I actually started from a snack delivery organization, and that was my first foray into the business analytics. And as I became a consultant, I have been around the world looking at multinational, multi-departmental type of organizations where they need to have visibility restrictions between each department and so forth, as well as conglomerates within multiple organizations trying to share information as they need to operate from one platform. I've been doing database architecture and management for the last 8 years, starting with very simple systems to becoming proficient with SQL, which is the back end for Dynamics CRM. And I also have 5 years of CRM experience specifically, so setting up the architecture on these types of platforms, how everything fits in for operations, how to do the collaboration, workflows, and everything else that's associated with the Dynamics platform. I've been system administrator and a consultant for the last 5 years. For my education, I carry an MBA and multiple certifications in both Dynamics CRM as well as the ancillary systems that expand the capabilities of the platform. Let's take a look at the overview of project management. Now, often if you don't have a single platform to be able to operate from, collaboration with team members, allocation of appropriate resources, scheduling, time monitoring, forecasting of costs, understanding what the delivery of the timelines are going to be for milestones, tracking all this information is very difficult to do. It can become a very inefficient process which has drops in productivity as well as a lack of communication to customers, which make them feel that the organization is not organized. We want to eliminate all of those challenges. We want to breathe confidence from our customers into this platform. So let's take a look at some of the benefits here. From project service, we are actually able to use subject matter experts to build project timelines, which are then allocated to very detailed quotes. So when we're looking at deploying software, for example, and we're looking at the different types of customizations, analysis, development, deployment, training, all of these different sections, we're able to have a very detailed understanding of what the resource cost will be, what the timeline will be. We're able to deliver all of this within a quote, so that way the customer has a complete understanding of what they're evaluating instead of having unknowns. This increases that customer confidence as well as keeps everybody on task. We also have assisted resource scheduling. So when trying to decide who to apply to a task within a project, looking at different schedules and seeing who has what certifications or capabilities to be able to deliver on that project can be very cumbersome and disorganized. Because everything is within CRM with this platform, we are able to automate that process. We're able to have complete visibility and collaboration. As soon as somebody is assigned to a project task, they're then communicated and involved in a group, which allows them to be able to share documents, notes, as well as activities that are going on in regards to that project. We can also forecast our profitability. So we can take a look at, is this going to be a lucrative project for us? So that also helps us with the quoting process. I'm sure many times people have gone into projects where they had underestimated the cost internally. And this type of a platform gives you the ability to have the foresight before you engage with that project about exactly what resource costs there will be involved to be able to deliver that project, that product, or whatever it is. And that way, when we're going to the quoting cycle, we can estimate those things very accurately and make sure that everybody is in the same page. We also are able to do all of this from a centralized location. So this enhances visibility as well as management, giving project managers the ability to reach out to different resources within the organization and assign them to the tasks, and also see the feedback as to whether or not they're actually available to be able to get onto that project. So sometimes there may be extenuating circumstances in which a resource is allocated to a different, some type of effort that's going on. Maybe some type of change has come in a previous project. With this type of system, you're able to see exactly what they've been assigned to at any given time, and it allows for incredible visibility into the project planning process. So let's take a look at when this actually applies. Now, as mentioned, when doing construction projects or anything of a lengthy period of time which requires multiple people in multiple stages with different milestones that are going to be accrued throughout the project delivery cycle, this is a great application for that. Now, for our particular needs here, we deliver CRM implementations or ERP implementations which require analysis and development, design, deployment, and training is all part of any given project life cycle. This is a huge advantage for us to be able to do that within this type of a platform. It also gives us the ability to schedule the specialized resources that are needed at each stage within that project delivery. So for example, when looking at doing any development work, we need to have custom programmers that are certified and capable to be able to deliver quality code, making it an efficient system. And those resources can cost a little more than somebody who's doing Visio diagrams, for example. And so what we can do is have the specialized resources required for each stage applied to the appropriate time during that project lifecycle. Now, when we actually look at the milestones within our projects, we're able to set up contractual billing. This gives us the advantage of being able to define at what stages we're going to actually be expecting payment for the services provided as we go through, say, a 6-month-long engagement, delivering all the different aspects to one of our software solutions. Also, we have the ability for both products and services to be allocated within the project build. So that allows us to have product line items such as licenses for different types of software, as well as the different resources that we use to be able to create that software environment that's going to be useful for an organization. So let's go ahead and get into the nuts and bolts now. We're going to actually take a tour through the environment itself. We're going to see how we can actually perform in the CRM platform using Project Service. First, we begin with designing a project template. This gives us a cookie-cutter model on the ability to create certain tasks and timelines with contract milestones that we can apply to multiple projects. So as we acquire new contracts, new customers who would like to have the CRM implementation, we're able to use that same template over and over again and modify that template as needed. But it really gives us a leg up to get started. From that type of a template, after the customizations of those tasks, we can then provide quote estimates for the project. So this allows SMEs, subject matter experts, to clearly identify all of the expected costs within the entire project delivery and be able to roll that up into a quote that then is presented to the customer. Now, the project itself has what's called a work breakdown structure, or a Gantt chart. We'll take a look at this in just a moment, but it's a graphical representation of exactly what we're going to be doing at any given time, and we can create dependencies and predecessors. We can do co-stream work where simultaneously multiple things are happening, and we can also organize all those teams so that everybody is sharing the information as they go throughout the build and everybody's on the same page about where they are with their tasks. We're going to assign resources using the soft book and hard book method. We're also going to take a look at the skill allocations for our resources available. So I think that's going to be very exciting for you. We're also going to be able to take a look at how we can track the project progress and where we are with the cost estimates as we deliver on those. We're also going to look at how approval of time and expenses is performed. And then finally, how the invoicing based on contract requirements and milestone billing looks like within the CRM system. And as mentioned, we're also going to be taking a look at the feedback loop. So all of these activities are being tracked within one platform, and that gives us the ability to do dashboard reporting as well as monthly, weekly, quarterly reporting that's static. But dashboards are a big advantage of Dynamics CRM, so we're going to take a look at exactly how those work. So let's go ahead and go into our CRM environment. Now, if you're familiar with CRM, this is the typical dashboard layout. We have our drop down of the different main categories for this environment, being sales, service, marketing, project service, and field service. So if we take a look at project service, you can see that this is the module that we've installed within the environment to facilitate doing project development and deployment. From project templates, as mentioned, you're able to create a work breakdown structure which has the layout of all the different tasks expected for a certain type of delivery. So we use an agile method here for our project delivery, which is also in combination with Microsoft SureStep. SureStep has the standard process of doing analysis, design, development, deployment, and maintenance. But We've combined that as a hybrid to Agile, so that way we can move flexibly through the development process and take the low-hanging fruit as it becomes available, as well as adjust what our overall target point is as customers sometimes change their mind about what they actually want to be able to get. So in this template, we can take a look at the work breakdown structure, and this will actually show us, again, a Gantt chart that has that same type of deployment. We're looking at the sprint 1 versus sprint 2, and here's our analysis and discovery, our design, our development, and end-to-end testing. Then we go to training, and then project completion. And on the right-hand side, we have this Gantt chart, which then shows our dependencies with the yellow lines. So this predecessor of this task is actually the project kickoff. So that's actually going to bring us into sprint 1. Now once we're in sprint 1, we can go through the different tasks required, but as you can see, once we have the design in place, we can do development and testing simultaneously, because as we create different sections within the software, we can then do the testing right after it's done. So we might not build out the entire platform all at once and do testing. We might just want to build out, say, the sales section, and then do some testing for how the business process flows and collaborations and other workflows kick off. So this gives us the ability to have that flexibility as well as the visibility throughout. Now, once I have project templates, and I know that I'm going to be applying them to the different projects that I'm going to be creating, I can then go ahead and go into projects, which will show all of the different ones that I have on as an active project. Now, of course, I can have ownership. This is much like any other CRM subgrid where I've got all the different projects listed. I can do a filtered view. I can change the columns of the information that's presented, and I can also sort off them. Additionally, we have the ability to filter based on the first letter within the project name. And I've got one here that I'd like to show you. So this is an ERP implementation. I think this is very indicative of the type of things that we do here. So I wanted to illustrate for you how this would actually work for us to deliver for you a project with all the visibility that we expect. This is modern day and age. We have the capability to have collaboration, visibility, and granular breakdowns. Exactly everything that's going to be a part of our project. So here, this is again our Gantt chart. This is actually built specifically for this ERP deployment. And as you can see, I can add tasks, I can delete, I can make parents or children of these tasks so that way they fit within different categories. I can move up and down the sequence of them. I can also change the dependencies of them. Here I can take a look at what type of view do I need for the different tasks as they're completed. So that way if I need to get a clearer picture about exactly how many hours are expected to be utilized for staffing plan, I'm able to do that using that filter. Now once I'm ready, I'm able to generate the project team, and this is based on the different roles that I have assigned. So for example, if I open up this task, you can see that I've got this role setting here, and all of these roles are predefined within the platform. So I know that I have resources that will be used in all of the different developments that we do, and by assigning those different roles, I can then allocate those to individuals within my organization, and I'm able to say that each one of these tasks has a role that's going to be filled. Now, once I'm ready, I can generate the project team. And this will look through all of those roles and find all the people in my organization to match up for each one of these tasks. And this is what I'm talking about as far as an advantage for being able to organize your teams efficiently and not have to worry about looking through Outlook calendars and whether or not they've been updated to see if people are available. Now, this is looking through the entire organization, so it will be scrubbing all of the parameters, being also certifications, which is listed under resource skills, and then also the role types that have been applied to the people that I have on staff. And while this is going through, I also want to show you that we have the ability to look at all the different hours that are required for each one of these groups. So I have 8 hours allocated for project proposal, and so that's going to roll up into this project planning phase of 284. So what this means is that I can create milestones at each one of these different phases, and I would be expecting to have 640 hours of paid services delivered on integration phase, for example. Now my project team has been generated. You can see my resources have now been populated. It shows me for each one of the roles who is involved on this project, and I can click OK. Now let's take a look at what our resource utilization looks like. This is where I have my team and who, when, and where they're assigned to different projects. Now we've set goals in this system as being 75% utilized, and that's because we have to have the flexibility to move people around to different projects as they come in. We can't have people 100% booked, otherwise we wouldn't be able to deliver on new projects until everything else was closed down. So we have this margin where people are expected to be able to be used for a certain capability. If I hover over any one of these people within my organization, I'm brought this pop-up which shows me the skills that they have, the utilization including target, their billable hours, their non-billable hours, and what that percentage of non-utilized is. I have the cost rate, which is how much it's costing me to have this person available to be able to apply to different projects. And then I have my bill rate, which is what's going to actually be used to deliver that quote. So I can say that if somebody, for example, is utilized for 10 hours and I'm billing for $150, I'm going to say that's going to be at $1,500 is going to be applied to the quote. In this way, we can be very granular, very specific, and also we're able to be protected, and we're able to protect our customers. Now, when looking at project contract milestones, we can take a look at how the billing will actually be used to deliver to the customer as we walk through the project. So as we're inside of this Lube and Grease ERP project, and I look at my work breakdown structure, I'm able to identify which areas are going to be milestones. Now, by selecting from the different categories, we can have milestone billing, and that would actually say that this task, once it's identified as being a milestone moment, would then trigger on the dashboard that we've gotten to all the various stages and have contracting, invoicing delivered to the customer for this project automatically. When we're looking at how all this is coming back to us, we can take the practice management dashboard, which shows us the actual projects that we're billing for. So this gives us a monthly view of all the different costs to me, the billable resources utilization. I've also got cost to the customer, what we're actually billing, what our margins are for our profitability. I also am able to see different types of views, be it month over month or quarter over quarter. I can do comparables from year over year. Now I can also take a look at my teams. So that last dashboard was showing how we've got different different bills to be expected. And we're going to be expecting certain revenue, and we're able to monitor the performance of our fiscal capabilities. And then from here, I can actually take a look at my teams and see, where do I need to apply people more? So in this upper left, I've got it listed by role. And here we have developer, functional consultant, program manager, and technical consultant. So this then shows me what I have for the different types of resource allocation for this person, for this type of technical consultant role. So it gives me the ability to drill into all of the different parameters that are actually driving all of this great data. So this way I can see whether or not I, for example, need to hire more functional consultants, or if I have too many program managers, for example. I can also not only look at it for individual role types, but I can also look at month over month. So this helps me with forecasting and trend planning. On the upper right, we actually have a goal chart. So this is going to show us what the target utilization percentage is, being at 75%, and where each one of these roles are falling into that target. So I always want to maintain a healthy utilization parameter, so that way I don't overwork the teams, and I know that my projects are going to be delivered on time and under budget. I've also have a section here which keeps me in the loop about any type of activities, opportunities, task completions, anything that's going on within any one of the projects. I can follow these records, I can follow people, and I'm able to have that as a scrolling dashboard that allows me to stay in touch with everything that's going on, be it a phone call record or a contact record that's been created. Anything that I want to be able to be informed about, I can keep here on my dashboard. And that's a great way to use CRM, is to always come to a splash screen that's going to give you high-level information as well as granular information, and allows you to drill in even farther so you can really understand how to best work your day. Now, we also have, from our resource availability, the capacity to see on a calendar view what times people have booked in general, not just for specific projects, but their overall utilization by person. Now, when they're actually assigned to a project, you can automatically create a group within Office 365 which allows for everyone to be able to collaborate and keep the data off of CRM, which allows for much more cost-effective storage of all those images and reports, so that way we're only using CRM to organize and collaborate, not to store the information. Now, I've got the ability to change how I'm looking at my utilization as well, or my resource. So I'm able to drill away from a calendar, but actually see what they are capable of, what the utilization rate is, and then also my cost and my bill rate for any one of these people. And I'm able to also instantly chat or email them from this screen. With a VoIP interface, you can even make a one-click dial, so that way you can call them to find out about if they have something that they may be prospecting on that hasn't actually been hard booked. Now, when you're actually setting up these systems, you're going to be looking at resource roles, as we talked about, as well as resource skills. And all of this is customizable. So you're not locked into any type of pre-formatted limitation about who is in your system or what is involved with any type of skill set. So this form that's coming up can be completely customized and also drive workflows. So as, for example, I've got a characteristic type of a skill and I've got the description as agile methodologies. When that skill set is brought into a project, I can have workflows kick off, which would then allow for collaboration with other people with this agile methodology skill set. So that way they can feed off one another outside of an individual project to be able to help build those teams and increase the synergy and intellectual sharing for all of your organization. So that means now, instead of having one really good resource and a couple mediocre ones and maybe some people that are coming up to speed, it allows for the sharing of knowledge from your experts throughout all of the organization for people who are fulfilling those types of roles within any of your given projects. So we're also able to identify when people are actually going to be available, so that way you don't book them outside of their actual available work time. So if, for example, you have holiday schedules or nobody's working on weekends, you can set these things in place so that way you always know exactly how long they're going to be working on the project. So if it's an 80-hour cycle that you have somebody assigned to for a specific task, it's not going to accumulate those 80 hours outside of business operating hours. Now, when somebody is assigned the task and they want to indicate that they've completed it, there's multiple ways that they can do that. They can do it from the CRM mobile app, they can do it from Outlook, and they can also do it from the project itself. So from an operating dashboard for a project resource, somebody's able to go to their specific dashboard for them and see exactly what they need to address that day. So if we take a look at the Dynamics CRM overview dashboard, you'll see there's several activities assigned. So you're able to deliver to the person who's assigned to each task that would be able to address whatever is needed for that day, so that way they can deliver on the project. Now, in addition, as a manager, you're able to see as people are completing those tasks inside of your management dashboard. My apologies, resource management dashboard would give us what people are actually doing. And again, you can customize these. So if I have a team, for example, that's working underneath me and I'm running multiple projects and I know that I've got several people listed who have expected tasks and completed tasks, you'd be able to track those as they complete them as an aggregate, as well as drill into those different people's activities to determine what has been done per project. Now, time when these tasks are completed are also approved. So a project manager is able to control billing in a way that is not available through other types of systems without a laborious process. In this, we're able to have the task be assigned as being completed, and then it's delivered to the project manager, who can then verify that the code is working or that it has been tested, that the documentation is adequate, and then allow for that time to be approved, which then applies towards the contract invoicing. So not only are you able to have visibility into what's projected costs are, but you're also able to control the quality of the work all the way through and not bill your customers for work that it will have to be redone or wasn't expected, wasn't to expectations, anything along those lines. You're able to make sure that anything that goes to the customer is controlled. Now, when we're looking at opportunities and how they turn into our projects, we can actually set it up so that as they go through the business process flow for the opportunity and they get to a certain section in which they're ready to be able to create a project, you can simply have a drop-down of the different types of project templates that you would like, and then close that opportunity as one, and that can actually trigger the creation of your project, pulling over all the information about the product line items and anything else that's set forth in that type of a project. So once you're in the actual project itself, you would have visibility to all of the product lines that are being used as well as the different services. So here we have an example of what the project contract fields would be, with the project quotes related to this Lube and Grease ERP and the associated opportunity. You can look at the team that's going to be fulfilling all the work, and you can also see the status of where you are within the project deliverable. So this again gives you granular visibility to the performance of your teams, the specific actions that are being conducted, how much is left to do, and also control costs. So if, for example, you notice that you're coming to the end of your budget and you haven't delivered the entire project yet, you're able to move resources around, control what invoices are sent to your customers, and that way we can create long-term relationships by providing the service as expected for the expected cost. Now, upon project completion, all that information is then rolled into the ERP systems. So therefore, you have the ability to integrate the CRM directly into a GP platform, for example, and allocate all of your accounts receivable and accounts payable through that system completely seamlessly. So therefore, there's no manual entry, there's no fat finger errors. You're able to ensure that everything is clean in your data set and that there's no oversight, there's no misses within your process. Now, we also have different types of financial capabilities within CRM itself. So if, for example, you want to be able to have your invoicing created within the CRM system instead of an ERP, you're able to do that and generate it with a one-click document generation using typical Word templates. You're also able to have those, in fact, automatically sent with your logo and your links, all of the different pieces that you would want for your invoices. So that way your customers are seeing a quality deliverable and also a professional invoice to be paid. As you can see, we have various transaction categories and expense categories. So when we're looking at, say, for example, travel expenses, to be able to go on site to do the analysis, we can allocate for those outside of the actual project timeline. So if, for example, there needs to be some cross-country travel, and we need to be able to roll that into our overall project costs, based on contract parameters, we're able to allocate those within the invoicing process, the contracting process, and allow for people to see exactly what's been spent where. Now, these statuses actually allow you to create a report that can then be delivered to the customer. And you can do this both from a printed report as well as through the customer portal. So, for example, I would be able to provide all of the data that you see here in regards to this Lube and Grease ERP deployment and be able to have somebody give them access to be able to log in with their own secured login with username and password, which would then give them up-to-the-minute information about the various tasks and where you are in the stage of the actual project deliverables and how much of the overall budget has been consumed without even having to wait for the weekly meetings that typically happen with project managers. Usually these projects are set up where you're spending time and money to be able to have a project manager sit down and give you updates about where you are within the project. With this platform, we can empower our customers to go in and see for themselves at any given time where they are with that project, which eliminates the cost and it eliminates the lag time in seeing where you are with that project. This is an incredible feature which enables customers to then also do other projects in tandem and have the ability from our deliverable to adjust their timelines for other types of projects that they might have that would have dependencies or relationships to this project timeline that we're working on for them. And again, the ability for us to be able to do this without actually creating any costs or lag times for those meetings is a large advantage, and it would be for anybody who adopts this type of system to their operations. So let's take a look at how to get started. So a quick architecture overview starts the process off with marketing. This is the funnel that brings in all the new leads, which then become opportunities, which then you become projects. Now, when these opportunities are converted to projects, again, we can use the quoting built up from the project timeline itself and are able to deliver that to our customers with visibility into all the different resources that are going to be used, at what levels are going to be used, how many hours are going to be used, and also when they expect to have their milestones completed by. Outlook integration allows for the task completion directly from the task list out of Outlook. So when they check the flag saying that they've completed a task, that feeds directly back into CRM, so that way that task within that work breakdown structure is showing as being complete, and the billable time is then set for approval. Finally, an external ERP system integrates for the billing based on deliverables. So as we're actually accruing these invoices and we're getting this payment collected, those payments are then being received through an ERP system, which there's a wide array of ERP systems which can integrate with CRM. However, Microsoft Dynamics GP is something that is out of the box integrated and has the ability to save time and money with that development and gives you a fully functional ERP platform that you can run an enterprise level business off of. So as a quick recap here, what we have for project services, it was released in May of this year, so this is brand new. And the quicker you can get this into your operations, the faster you're going to get ahead of your competition and be able to deliver projects on time, under budget, with greater visibility to not only all the people internally within the organization, but also to the customers as well. The project management UI is integrated directly into CRM Dynamics, as you saw, so this gives us a seamless training experience for anybody who uses this system. Everybody's working in the same environment. Of course, this is also available within the Office 365 environment for integration into other MS systems such as SharePoint, as mentioned before, or Skype for Business when you want to use the VoIP calling, or there's other things that are coming on the horizon too, such as Madeira. So for a small enterprise, an ERP online system, this is a great boon for a lack of startup costs, ease of deployment, and automatic integration. There's just nothing else out there like that. Finally, it captures all of the time and the progress of the project, all the resources that are associated, and allows for the contractual billing to be set up for any type of milestone billing or under task completion or under maybe it's a phase that's going on. You can define how you want to bill your customers. You can set the expectations and you can deliver on them. So now I'd like to open it up for a little Q&A. We've covered quite a bit, and I'm sure that there's some questions out there. It says, can workflows be triggered by project service data? Absolutely. This is a fantastic feature where any of the data that's captured within the system can be used as a trigger or be used as captured for delivery of a workflow. So when you would want to be able to, say for example, call out to different management teams upon completion of projects, and be it that you want to set it up on a dashboard or you want to notify customers automatically about different types of milestones, so that way you could set forth in the system whenever you get through the analysis phase, you want to be able to give a project delivery report to your customer so they don't have to log into the customer portal to see where they are with that project. You can actually set all that up automatically, which then saves the project manager lots of time trying to track down all the different tasks that were part of that analysis phase, ensure that they're all completed, get all the reporting together for the actual deliverables, be it Visio diagrams or requirements lists, and then have all of that prepackaged into a report that's then delivered to the customer without any further work than the initial setup. This is a great feature of having everything within Dynamics CRM. And then also, it looks like can project services be used in conjunction with field services? Yes, actually, this is a great advantage, again, to having all of these things within the Dynamics CRM platform. We're able to take a look at how when a project is going through a delivery cycle, say for example a solar panel installation array, we're looking at how they would need to schedule for the pylons to be put in for the ground mount, the racking system to be built on top of it, the solar panels to be installed on top of the racks, and then for everything to be plugged together. So this would allow for those teams to be automatically scheduled as you go through that project lifecycle. This again gives you all the visibility and all the control throughout the entire process and automates the communication to your field teams so that way they're able to then deliver on that installation. We have one more here. How is project license? What is the cost? Great question. So it's actually $35 a month per user that would actually be part of the project delivery. So once you actually have Dynamics CRM in place, it's just an additional user license fee for the people who are going to be involved in development or any part of these project life cycles, as well as project managers. So that doesn't include sales staff, for example, or marketing staff. You're able to limit the licensing requirement based on who's actually using the features of project service. Okay, well, here's some additional resources for you to be able to follow up. Please check out our blog. We're always updating it. We're providing a lot of quality content that helps explain these types of products, as well as giving some tips and tricks on how to use them. We want long-term engagement with our customers. We want them to be very satisfied with what they get from us so that they'll refer us and also come back to more as their business grows. There's also a What's New guide available for all of the project service features, and then also a setup guide that helps you be able to get the basics of how to be able to operate these systems on your own, where our goal here is to empower you to be able to take control of your business. We want to be able to set you off on the path in the right direction and then be there for you whenever you need help. So thank you all for attending. Here's my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime, any one of our account executives as well. Love to be able to talk to you about how we can make your business grow, be successful, more efficient, and basically make things better all around.